Oh, okay. Ooh, sweating over here. Um, yeah, I just came back from a walk. Um, it's kind of later in the day. I usually don't do later podcasts, but it is what it is. Just trying to find time. There's like a million things that I have to do before this baby comes out. So just kind of steaming a lot of things, carpet cleaning, just getting everything ready. But yeah, just about to have baby number two on the way. So, um, and shout out to everybody that watched the last podcast, the solo podcast. I was supposed to get my wife on here one more time, but decided to just kind of talk to you. You know, I said a lot of things that I just kind of I don't need to explain, but just kind of want to hang out with you. Um, I have a lot of people that are telling me that I'm going to be disappearing, which could be true. Um, yeah, I thought about it, and it does make me sad that this is kind of like the same pattern of kind of like starting a project, getting some momentum, and then kind of like walking away from it, because the priorities change and my life has changed, and it is what it is. I'm happy, obviously, having two kids, but it's just, yeah, I mean, I wish I could tell you that, I got things planned out. I had to cancel 5 or 6 people's episodes because I need to really lock in and kind of like minimize all the, I don't want to say distractions, but it's kind of hard. So it's not a goodbye, but I mean it's a see you later kind of thing. So um, yeah, and what's on my mind? Shout out to Victor. Um, just graduated. Love you. Congratulations. Hope you see this one day. Really proud of you. Um, I wish I had more time just to tell you how I feel about you. Just kind of, but you already know. So um, yeah, just kind of thinking about our life and how far we've gone, and yeah, just wishing you the best, brother. And yeah, hope that you get to see this one day. Just know how much I love you, and I think it's beautiful all the moments that you and I have had, and I think I can't wait to see where the future holds for you. So um, I don't know if it's a secret, but our homegirl Nanette is moving away for a little bit. I just got the invite for her party full, so don't know if it's a secret. Sorry if it is, but yeah, Nanette, love you. Um, you're the third episode on this podcast, and just really happy that you were in my life. And yeah, what's on the agenda? I told myself that I'd have things to write down and things to talk about. Yeah, and the first thing I want to talk about is, oh god, phone close to the wires. It makes some static. I'm sorry, so you guys can hear all that. So but one thing I want to talk about is the old, what did I say? What did I write down? Yeah, like I hope that you see that I'm becoming a better person. I don't know if I've talked about this before. Maybe I've written this down, but yeah, I hope that you can see that I'm trying. I think that's one thing that I've always like kind of always just tried. Just tried, and there's some things I haven't tried in my life, and that makes me sad. Um, do I have regrets? Thinking back at it, yeah, of course, because I'm a changed person. I wouldn't do that. I've grown a lot. Um, and what better way to do it with action, right? Um, I feel like my actions have. Well, I mean, you can definitely see where I lie. Yeah. Um, I'm not sick anymore, by the way. Just, well, hopefully I'm not. But yeah, I hope my actions speak louder than my words. I've been saying a lot of things out loud. I've been doing a lot of social media lately. Shout out to people that have been noticing. Um, Trying to push my account, my wife and I's account that got hacked by a lot of bots. But yeah, just trying to push social media. And then once I'm done with all the back catalog stuff in 2025, I want to get in front of the camera and start talking. There's a creator that I've been recently just started following. I think it's like Higher Wellness on Instagram, but he like kind of shows like how many takes he does on like a talking to the camera and how effective it is. And people call him out using a teleprompter app and all that stuff. And I don't know. I think it's beautiful, the unedited, this version of you that's just kind of like, yeah, this is what I'm thinking about, in the moment. I think there's a way that I need to come across. I need to, formulate my thoughts, and I need to come, articulate it in a certain way. But I like this. I think this podcast has been kind of like building myself up for the social media. Where I could talk about the journey, show the journey. Because I really do. I really want to stay home with my kids, and I want to stay home with my wife, and I want my wife to do art or bake, but I want to be with my kids, and I want to do social media. I love social media. I've talked about in the last podcast. That's what I want to do. And I think what better year, right? When the world is going to shit. um, but yeah, I hope that you could see it. I'm, I just, there's the conversation is different, and the way I've been moving around people are different. So yeah, I really needed to look myself in the mirror this year and say like, yo, if I really mean this shit, I really gotta put in the pieces, and I really just needed to change, change for the better, change for myself, you know. So that's what I wrote down. I just hope that you see this person in front of you, and I'm at well, I mean, 5 years ago, I was in a different place, but I see, I was talking to my wife about this. I was like, I love those guys. But with me and my wife, I love those guys, like me and my wife, but it's just like, I don't even know what they were thinking. We could have definitely saved a lot more money, gone on less trips, planned the future out better. But, when Van got pregnant, just like bam, bam, bam. But yeah, I think that's what me and my wife talked about is like, yeah, if we see them, we love them, but, we don't recognize them anymore. So, oh, that makes sense. Damn, I'm still sweating, dude. Yeah. I'm going through this challenge right now on Strava. I'm back on Strava, for May. Well, I don't know. The running club, I don't know if Christian's going to watch this or Juan, but, I'm taking a pause. I haven't done anything creative. This is the most creative. I mean, besides me going through my back catalog in 2025 to edit some videos and some trips. But besides that, I haven't made shit for the running club. I've really been falling off. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. We made the social media. We had some good runs. It's just like I'm just trying to do all this shit, man. So, can you guys hear the birds? It's beautiful. But yeah, just kind of going through that, and yeah. So sorry, not really locked in on social media for the Bad Apples Running Club. Damn, someone's trying to text me, but I don't know. What else did I write down? Yeah, I might be sniffling. Um, what did I write down? Sheesh. Yeah. Some things I would have, I'm just kind of thinking about is we really gotta really find something beautiful, or really be thankful for the things that didn't work out. Um, I think about past projects, things, collaborations, projects. Um, some things I'm just kind of happy that just didn't like work out. Because I would have hated it. I think I would have hated it. The direction, the lack of communication, the impact. You know, I don't know if that's controlling. I don't know if that's selfish, but I think you just gotta be really glad that you just gotta really think about it. Like, I'm just thankful it didn't work out. And you gotta just take that perspective and be like okay with it. I was thinking about that, on the drive to work, and yeah, I'm just like, wow, thank God, thank God, like that, it wasn't for me. I wasn't ready for the opportunity, or maybe someone better got it, or something like that. It's just God, maybe God takes things away from you because you're just not ready, or maybe He's watching your back, and so yeah, thank God things didn't work out. So I'm just thankful for that. I would have hated it. I would have hated things if I would have made those moves. So I'm glad to be here, and I'm glad to be here with you guys. Um, but yeah, that's another thing I wrote down. I just wanted to express that. I don't know how the last podcast, episode 20, is going to be, but it's just me here. Man, I know that there's a lot of people that have been just watch this podcast and just want to be a part of it. Man, I'm sorry. I really, I really want to tell you that I want you here too, man. I got to focus on my family, and shout out to Ashton, Vic, my best friend's wife. We were at a lunch after the graduation, and they were gonna go out drinking and this and that. And I was already, I was just hanging out, and I'm not gonna lie to you, I was having FOMO, but I was saying, I was like, oh, I gotta go home, baby can come out at any moment. And I was just saying, I was like, oh man, I'm jealous. I want to be out, be out with you guys, be outside. My brother just graduated, so it's just celebration. And then Ashton was like, you don't have to explain any of that. And I was like, damn, I got caught up, man. Just like, she's right. I don't have to explain anything. I don't know why in that moment I had to explain myself, because I know my brother Victor and my brother Justin and one of my close friends, Nanette, Ashton, like they know that where my priorities lie. They know who I am, and they don't need to hear me say that. So a no that I can't go out was enough. But something internally me was like, yo, I gotta tell them, explain them why. They weren't even guilt trip me. I just felt like this pressure applied, which they weren't even doing. So shout out to you, Ashton. Thank you for kind of making me uncomfortable, but also really humbling me. So thank you. I don't know if you're ever gonna watch this, but thank you. What else did I write down? Last episode. I mean, the other couple episodes, I said I'm making sure that I have some topics because I've just been rambling on. So just want to make sure. Yeah, bro. Cheers, cheers, cheers. God damn, what I be writing? I just be like writing crazy shit down. Could I? Okay, that's all right. Could I be doing more documenting? Yeah, you know. But when you do that, like, where do you put all that stuff? It's mostly social media, and I have so much on my back catalog. I've never really like uploaded all that, and so now I'm just getting into it. And yeah, I'm doing. I have enough. I have enough footage for, I think, until June. But yeah, man, it's just a lot of footage. And then like once that's done, I want to like actually be present. Kind of like from 2025 to 2026, and so on. But actually be present. But I want to talk about the journey about being a father and stuff like that. But yeah, what the fuck was I talking about? Oh my god, I don't know, dude. But yeah, anyways, but yeah, just like, oh yeah, just all the footage, man. Like I don't even know what to like do with all that. I want to document more, but that's like, it's, dude, fucking hard drives are so expensive, bro. Like, what am I supposed to do with all that? Buy more iCloud, like that's fine, but then like I can't shoot on my FX3, do everything 4K, and like upload a. I'm sticking with iPhone. I'm sticking with the iPhone. I'm sticking with the iPhone. I'm shooting everything. And I'm gonna upload it. And then after that, I'm gonna delete it. But I'm just so over not doing anything with this footage, man. I've been hiding all the stuff that I love shooting and putting together. I'm just over it. I just want to put it all out in the world and just be like, yo, whatever sticks. I don't want to say whatever goes viral. I don't give a fuck about going viral. I don't give a fuck about making money. I just want to be home and make content, pay the bills, whatever. It's just time. Timing is everything. So that's where I'm at right now. But yeah, I want to document more, and I want to put the stuff out there. Am I fucking scared of Palantir, and am I scared of fucking Israel and all that shit? Yeah, of course I am. I'm scared of the U.S. government, of course. But besides that, yeah, I'm just fucking whatever, dude. I just want to be a good dad, and I want to go lose weight, and I want to put myself on the internet, and I want my wife to be baking and making art, and I want my kids to grow up knowing that, you know, they weren't the reason why we stopped, chasing our dreams, you know. Um, I've said this on the podcast. My dad, he made it very clear. I don't know if it was bitterness. I don't know if he was angry with me, but he was a tattoo artist, and he was working, out there and wherever, and he was successful. He had people in and out of the house. I remember he had a chair once, and I remember when I was young age, why'd you stop? Because I had you, and he had to lock in, and he made me feel like I was the reason why he fucking stopped his dream, and I was like, damn. And I understand it, maybe he, on the other side, or the other perspective, he was saying yeah, I manned up. I'm a father now. I'm manned up. But as I took it, I'm like, fuck, you gave it all up. Which is crazy, man. I mean, I'm giving up this because I need to focus on 2 kids. But I know that that's not where it stops. I'm not saying goodbye forever. I know to see you later. But you know what I'm saying? It's not, I don't know if that's the same, but I just don't want my kids to be the reason, I think that's a cop-out. I think it's an excuse. You can always still get after it, man. People that watch this podcast and you see how much I do with social media, being a father, being outside, planning weekends, that comes with communication. That comes with boundaries. That comes with understanding realistic, expectations. It's setting a good schedule. It's communicating effectively. You have a partner. Choose your partner wisely, bro. No, don't stop fucking with these. Just choose your partner wisely, man. I think that's the most important. Choose your partner wisely, because I don't think I could have been doing any of this shit if I didn't have a great partner to communicate and to talk this all out, because she's my better half, man. Van is my better half, and she's everything. And, Van really saved me, bro. And so, I don't, I said this to her multiple times, but she saved me. And I don't know if I would have any of this without her. I don't know if I would have this clarity, this mind. She really saved me, and that's where it all starts. I think. Maybe I'm the luckiest guy in the world. And I probably am. But it all started with her. And, of course, my faith as well. I'm not trying to push that agenda, but, just really tapping in with God and making sure that, we have a good relationship. I think that's all important. So, yeah, I mean, what else can I say? Lean in. Lean in. For sure. I need to enunciate more, I'd be mumbling a lot. I can see that the waveform is up, but I really be mumbling. And I really need to get better at that, because when I get into a flow and I start yapping, I start mumbling. I need to take that break. I need to enjoy the silence. It's another thing that my therapist and I had talked about. There's an anxiety with the silence, man. I do that with my peers, and I do that with my chain of command, not my management. But yeah, the silence, it kills me, man. I always try to crack a joke. I always try to, it makes me uncomfortable. And yeah, I need to pause more. I need to sit in it, and I need to chill out. I need to like sit in the silence. I think that's really important, man. It calms my nervous system. You know, there's no expectations or crazy expectations I need to set. I just need to sit with it, chill out, and just proceed. So I think that's important. Yeah. So yeah, sitting with it and really taking a pause, reminding myself I need to put like a wallpaper or something. Just spit that up. What else did I say? Damn. I already talked about slowly killing myself. I wrote that shit down already. Yeah, I already talked about getting derailed. No homo. Fucking gay ass. What did I want to say? Yeah. What did I write? Dude, I'm gay. No. Why did I write that down? Um. Oh yeah, yeah. There you go. That's a good one. Being more specific, intentional with my time. Yeah, you know. I think a lot of times the goals don't really have a specific kind of time frame or really realistic title. Like right now, the goal is I told myself I would walk, or I would walk 1 mile or 2 miles or 3 miles a day, and I'd set up challenges and all that stuff. But on my Garmin, there's like it shows all green, like, oh, you walked every day, like you've had a planned exercise with intention to go outside and walk. Lately, it's been with my daughter who likes to ride her bike, but I still get a mile and a half done. Sometimes when I go by myself, I go for 3 miles, and that's cool because I get to put on the AirPods and I just get to go. But when I'm with my daughter, I don't have my AirPods because I'm very just aware of my surroundings, and I'm just with my daughter, and my daughter can only tolerate one mile, and that's great. We plan the time out. We get to go out and we get it. I get 10K steps. Um, yeah, we've been doing great. It's been about 2 weeks. So here we are. And then I was talking to my therapist. And this is the reason why a lot of my stuff with my therapist, I wrote it down, but he's like, okay, what's the goal? And I was like, okay, well, I'm going to go 1 month of walking every day for a mile, 2 miles, 3 miles. And then in the month of June, I'm going to go get a bike. And I'm going to go get a bike. I'm going to start cycling and get some miles in. It's over there. And I wanted to build my endurance, get the motivation in. And he's like, oh, okay, so what's the goal with cycling? And I was like, I guess it's just the longevity. He's like, you should have a goal. You should have like a century run, or you should join a run club, or you should make a run, or a bike club. And there was just like, you just have to be more specific. Like you just said, there's layers to it. And I think I've just been kind of like, even with this Nothing But Heart, the podcast, they're like, oh, what's your goal? To have a podcast? Yeah, but what are you working towards? Shit, more followers, more engagement. What am I doing to do that? Like, fucking nothing, dude, because I'm literally talking for an hour in front of the camera. I am editing it, I'm posting it on YouTube, and then I let it go. Like, I don't post on social media, I just let it be. Because I'm thinking like, oh, well, God will just take care of it. No, like, but that's it. Like, I don't have any intention. So, yeah. And also, like, the same thing with work. Like, I just go to work. Like, there's no, it's clock in, clock out. Like, I don't really have any intentions. So, yeah, I need to be more specific with my goals. I need to really, like, have more intention. Like, how I'll be moving. I don't know if that's obvious. Sometimes I just be, like, going with the flow. Me and my wife, when we were first dating, we'd always say, we'll figure it out, you know. Life gets a little complicated, but we'll figure it out. We always figure it out. We always have figured out. I'm a survivor, she's a survivor, and we've always figured out. Like, we always have gone through it. But then it's like, you really need to, like, put some plans in place. That's kind of like talking about the last episode where I feel soft because I don't have plans. I don't execute. There's no intention. There's no real mission. So yeah, those are all relative. But yeah, like I was telling, my therapist about what I'm doing, how I'm doing it, and just like I have intentions with my daughter. Like I just everything I do, I clean the house and room. It's just to make sure that my daughter and my wife, they're all taken care of and all that stuff. But with me, it's just like it's so broad. Sometimes I don't really have like a smart goal. It gets really specific, measurable, obtainable. I don't know what the fucking R stands for, but whatever, dude. Anyways, yeah. So I wrote that down. How about I read the notes from my therapist? Ooh, let's get some of that. Yeah. Ooh. Um. Oh, you know what? Actually, I'm gonna say some stuff for the last episode. I think that's really important. Um. Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna talk about the other one, but I think I'm gonna, you know, um, going to therapy has really changed my perspective on a lot of the disrespect that I was taking, and just kind of identifying how people, move around me. I said in the past, therapy is nice because then you can understand. You start asking yourself why, and like why you act this way, and now the therapy kind of like makes you understand, and you kind of you're not trying to run away, or not trying to you're trying to identify your triggers, but then like how do you react and why do you react, right? I think that's the most important part of therapy. Um, and you're right, there's some people out there. Shout out to some people that know, but it's like, why would you need to pay for that? Look, man, I mean, to each his own, but I think that getting a third party perspective and not getting a bias and stigma, opinion, I think that's it's valuable, man. I don't have to explain myself and why, and there's no history there. So I don't know if but yeah, I think it's important. So I hope that everyone has an opportunity to talk to somebody. Um, but yeah, my therapist, I was talking about a lot of hard things that I'm about to do, moving forward, 2026. Just kind of challenging myself and feeling uncomfortable. But it was hard for me when my therapist asked me like, "Oh, what are some wins?" And I just couldn't really like answer that question because I feel like I haven't won at all. And when I started talking about what I do and getting up at getting up in the morning, going for a walk, getting ready for work, making sure the kid MJ's good, making sure my wife is good. Obviously 38 weeks pregnant, some moving around, navigating, getting food ready, and just getting everything done before I leave the house for work. Then I'm driving an hour to work. Then I'm trying to disconnect my brain from home, and then I spend 8 hours with customers. I do a lunch, and then I'm brain rotting in my car, and then I'm off of work 1 hour driving back, and then my daughter's like bike. I want to go biking. Yeah, then I do another mile, and then we come home, and then we eat, and then we ask my wife who wants to clean, who wants to put down, do bedtime. That's always a toss up. Yeah, man, and it's like, and my therapist was like, "You don't think that shit's hard?" And I was like, "Well, he didn't say that, but he's like, do you don't think that's hard?" And I was like, "No, it's just stuff I have to do, bro. Like that's my life. Like I'm a man. That's." He's like, "You don't. Like people aren't doing that. You know, like you know that that's hard stuff because you don't see other people doing that. You don't see the people doing accountability like you. So you gotta like I gotta stop downplaying it. Like bro, like what I'm doing is hard. I edit I edit videos. I take time a day. I spend time with my kid. We're doing cooking videos. I do the podcast. I edit. I post on social media. I write the captions. It's like, yeah, bro, curating videos. It's just, yeah, man, going out. It is hard, man. And when my therapist was talking to me about that, I kind of broke down, and he was like, "You got a big heart. That also makes you a big target. And it's just like that shit fucking broke me. I don't know what it is about what he said that, and I was like, yeah, I've never been in a place where I can, enjoy my achievements, right? It's always raising the bar. That's the new normal. Like, yo, let me fucking enjoy this, bro. You gotta do something better. You gotta be better. You gotta be better. So how are you different? That pressure, that good pressure, that bad pressure. So yeah, man. So yeah, man. The exercise is just the small wins. So a couple of days now, me and my wife, after we put down MJ, kind of take a second out of the day, do 5 minutes, and just be like, hey, what are 3 wins that we had in the day? And it's been good. And I'm not gonna lie to you, it's hard to think about wins, man. One time I was like, no one pissed me off at work. Great win. I didn't give myself, or I didn't get into a place of anger, and I didn't give myself away to anybody. I think that's a win. Small wins. I didn't have an energy drink, or I didn't have coffee. Small wins. And I think I need to really start reminding myself. I got a task, got a reminder that, that's important. 3 wins, 3 small wins. Because right now I feel like I'm not winning. And I know it's fucking crazy, but it's true. I don't feel like, I'm celebrated, and I don't think I'm valued. I don't believe that I bring anything different to the table. And yeah, I feel like I've always been overlooked and I've never been seen, right? Um, a lot of times I'm trying to figure out if a lot of my friends are just drinking friends, because that's sometimes the only time I see them. So it is tough. And, this is the core of nothing but heart. It's talk about men's journey, mental health. But yeah, man. I mean, I'm grateful, but also when I do that, my therapist hates when I do that. So I'm just trying to justify and try to prove to myself that everything's all right. But it's like, bro, like I'm also like whispering again. So no, it's all good, man. I mean, no, it's not all good. Fuck, I don't know why I keep trying to hype myself up. Shit sucks sometimes, bro. Like, yeah, yeah. What I can't wait for is to listen to this podcast when things have changed, and I want to see if things are still the same way. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, small wins, small wins. I wrote down so much things, man. Dog. I don't know. I be talking though. I be talking. Anyway, sorry about the dead noise, but yeah, I just be reading all the stuff that are my therapist notes, and it just kind of makes me sad, man. It just makes me sad just to kind of think about oh damn, Big ass dog outside, huh? No, it just makes me sad to think about just like how long this journey has been. You know, think about like, am I gonna be cured? Like, no. I mean, no. Seriously, like, I don't. I really have no idea. Like, you know, am I always gonna be messed up? Like, is my daughter and my next baby gonna see this one day and be like, yo, dad had a lot of shit on his mind, you know? Maybe I'm doing them a service, you know? Maybe if they really had some questions in the future, maybe they can just really, watch this and be like, yo, like, it's my neighbors, man. Um, yeah, it's a lot of things happening, man. It's a beautiful day outside, you know? It's a beautiful day, but a lot going on. You know, the sun's out longer. The weather's being awesome. People are outside and people are happy, you know? We spent a great day today. We went to what did we do? We what's it called? What the fuck? Okay. We celebrated Mother's Day. We went to the fucking San Francisco Zoo. That was insane. I've never been to the zoo in my life. Yeah, I've never been to the zoo in my life, and driving up and down Ocean Beach all the time, or the Pacific Highway, and going to Ocean Beach and passing by the zoo entrance. I never expected it to be that fucking big. Like, I never even thought about the zoo being that big. Like, we got there at 9:30. The gates don't open until 10. But like, it's packed. I mean, obviously it's a great deal for Mother's Day weekend. But it's like, it's packed. And we go in and we go to the right. We go to Africa. We see the giraffes. We see everything, and it's fucking cool. Like, MJ was walking, and I was like, yo, I need to see this fucking rhinoceros. And we're walking, and the best one is the penguins, actually. But anyways, but yeah, it's like you go out there and you're spending time, you're taking photos, and you got your wife and your mother-in-law, and you got your baby, and you're like looking at this, and you're like, this is the family, this is the tribe, dude. And we walk through the Americas, and bear country, and the Australia and all that stuff, and MJ's tired, I'm sleepy, I ripped the fucking Celsius, and I never had Celsius before, and you're just like, just in a bliss, like, wow, this is all beautiful. This is like, and you're making content, and you're talking to the camera, and you're, should we spend $7 on Dippin' Dots type shit, and you're like, and then you go to the Leaping Lemur Cafe, and you're like, should we get food? No, let's go somewhere else. And you walk into the car, and then you're like, let's go to Mazra in San Bruno. And you go to Mazra, and then you have a great lunch. I mean, it's fucking packed. I mean, you gotta park like 2 blocks away. I mean, fuck, the residential areas, parking sucks over there. But anyways, then you're just like, it's great. It's awesome. Everything's light and fresh, and the meat's good, the food's good, and people are awesome. The drinks are going. Not, like the lemonade and all that stuff. My wife's pregnant, so. But then it's like, what a time, And then your mother-in-law goes home, and then you get to see your, Mama Bear, which is my best friend's mom, and you get to spend time with her. And then they ask you, "Oh, you want food?" And then you're like, "I ate already." Then we get argue, we get fight, we fight. We're like, "Why the fuck you come over here and not eat my food?" It's all good. It's all gravy. And then you leave at 4, and then you drive home, and you get in front of traffic, and then you get changed, and then you go for another walk. And then after that walk, you put your daughter upstairs with your wife, and then you set up this podcast, and here I am. And this episode comes out on Monday. It's May 9th. And 6 o'clock, and the sun's out, and the sun sets at 8:05. You always have time. You always have time to do this. And after this, we're gonna cook dinner, and we're gonna make a video. We're gonna make buttercream shrimp, And then after that, actually, I don't know if I'm gonna make that video because we're still full for Mazra. But after that, I'm gonna edit this video on DaVinci because fuck Final Cut Pro, fuck Creative Studio. I don't know what the fuck they were thinking when they did that shit. Final Cut Pro is awesome, but work for the belly of the beast, and I can't get the fucking thing for free. So, anyways, man, I'm upset, obviously, but it's like, why make it? Why make a commitment? Why make a promise and then not deliver, bro? It's been months, weeks, maybe. I'm not gonna pay for that shit, bro. Or I just paid $2.99, but that's not fair, bro, because it was free. But I should have got it earlier. That's probably what it was. I should have got it earlier. But then my Adobe 1 year didn't run out. Anyways, man. So now I'm back on DaVinci Resolve. So I'm gonna upload this shit to DaVinci Resolve. I'm gonna cut it up. I'm gonna edit it. I'm gonna export. I'm gonna see how long that export is. I'm gonna upload it to YouTube. And then while I'm exporting, importing, blah, 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 I'm gonna be editing videos for social media. So there's always fucking time, bro. Don't give me that shit that there's no time to do this social media shit. There's always time. I got 2 fucking kids. And I got a great wife. There's always time. And I'm tired. I'm fucking tired, bro. Yeah, I'm tired. And another one, shout out to Bree. We had a early shift, and me and her were just talking, man. And shout out to Bree because, and I don't know if Bree's ever gonna watch this podcast, but shout out to Bree because she's grown, and she has a very mature mind. And when I was talking to her, and then I talked about her, I don't want to say age, but things are coming up, and she's grown, and the way that she articulates herself, the way that she's moving, I do appreciate that friendship. And yeah, like we were just talking about like how tired we are, and it's like, but you got to keep going. And I wanted to postpone this. Of course I want to postpone this, bro. This is the first time I'm feeling like normal. Well, not normal, but like good. Does that make sense? I don't know, man. I hope that next time I do this podcast, well, after the 20th episode, and I take a hiatus, I hope that I hope I can come correct, man, for you guys. I hope I can I thought I had it, man, this time. I'm sorry. I'm not making excuses. The core of it. I knew Van was pregnant. I knew. I was just like, I didn't plan the clothes correctly. I didn't expect to get sick twice in April. My lead time was 4 episodes. And then those weeks passed by, and I'm doing videos week to week. And so now it kind of messed me up, man. Because I don't want to force myself, but I'm pressed by time, and I got to edit, and I got to do. So yeah, maybe I didn't, but that's what it is, right? Like, how do you derail? You're getting derailed. You're gonna quit. Someone's testing me. So I don't know, man. All I know is that baby could come out anytime. We're walking every day. We're getting the miles in. Yeah, every night. I could, first time with MJ, it's like midnight. I was just going to sleep, and then, shakes me. She's like, my water just broke. And I'm like, fuck, here we go. Got the bags packed already, jump in, call the nurse. I'm ready, what I'm saying? First time we drove all the way to the city, but yeah. True or false? When I get static, that means someone's trying to reach out to me. Let's see if someone texted me. Nah. No one texted me. Let's talk about it. What are we talking about over here, bro? What are we talking about? What kind of a crazy ass week did I have? Um, Oyster Bay Loop. 5K. God damn it, dude. Damn, bro. I haven't been doing shit. Anyways, um, yeah, it's always time. Maybe I'm just lucky, man. Yeah, maybe I'm just lucky. You know, I know there's some other circumstances I'm not thinking about, man. And also, this is my perspective. What if fucking Van hates me, bro? What if she hates me? You know, I don't want to talk for her. I just feel like I over communicate. And I'm let's address it now kind of guy. I don't let that shit linger. Like let's just address it. Take accountability of what transpired or what could happen, and kind of own that shit. So I don't know. I mean, I've always, when I grew up, I always grew up with, or what if, or what could, what if we just had a little bit more communication, or what if we just had a little bit more money, or maybe if we just explained ourselves and took another second, that's a big part of it, Um, yeah, because the feeling that I have, man, sometimes it's just like, not everyone gets me. Well, maybe not even that, but it's just like no one really has me. I've said this on the podcast before. It's like no one really has me. I've got people. I've got people. You call me, I'm there, and I've shit. I've flexed that muscle a couple of times lately, because I'm that friend. I'm that guy. If you need me, fuck, I'm there. I mean, fuck, it sucks that I had to drive across a bridge, but I'm there. But I mean, if it's just drinking and partying, then I'm cool. I'm chilling. But if you need me, I'm there, bro. It's just, yeah, I feel like I always have everybody, but not, I don't have anyone that has me, you know? Um, I always feel like I'm a burden, you know? And I don't want to put people in that position where it's like, I don't know. Maybe because I've become selfish, I don't want to burden anyone else with my bullshit. I guess that's where I'm coming from, you know? I don't know if that makes sense. Hope it makes sense. But yeah, I don't know, man. What I do know is time's ticking. What if, what if, uh, what if the water breaks right now? I'm down here. What if the water breaks tonight? You know, what if I never get to episode 20? It's all facts, man. Yeah, yeah. I really hope that I really hope I don't forget. This feeling. I know when things start going with taking care of MJ, taking care of new baby. Not being at work, juggling social media, time to edit. I know things are, trying to walk around, walk, think about cycling. I'll be gone, for, out of the business for a little bit, but, like, I hope that I don't forget the mental health part of it. Maybe I will be overwhelmed. Maybe I need to see a psychiatrist. Maybe I need to, maybe I need to level myself out again, you know. Um, Maybe I just need help. And that's okay. There's a strength into that. There's a strength in asking for help. I'm not knocking anyone that hasn't asked for help, but I'm saying that I don't want to say surrendering, but maybe surrendering, leaning in and asking for help there's a strength in that. And I think that people, I think it's weak. And this is what the podcast is about, you know, being vulnerable and being open and being open to perspective and opportunities and learning and growing and being uncomfortable because this shit's uncomfortable, man. I'm uncomfortable right now, but I know that, well, if it's not you, it's gonna be me who's watching it. If I got one view, that's me. But this is all a part of the process, you know. I want to be better at talking about myself. I want to be better at talking about my mental health. I want to be better at social media. I want to have people over and interview them and ask the hard-hitting questions. And for a second there, I kind of forgot about what the fuck I was doing on here. So it'll be really interesting to see where I'm at when I get the time. It's always about time, man. And I always say there's not enough time, but I'm utilizing it. I promise you that, because I'm fucking, besides my daughter waking up in the middle of the night and I gotta rock her back to sleep, I'm fucking out, bro. And the only time I be scrolling really is when I'm taking a shit, and I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I mean, I'm a dad, bro. Like, sometimes I just need to take a shit. Now it's fucked up, man. I just outed myself. You know, there's a big stigma about dads, you know, being in fitness and having kids, cycling, 2 hour cycling runs, hour and a half gym runs. And when I do 3 miles, it takes 1 hour. So I just be like out and about, listening to podcasts and shit, doing social media. And like the wife is with the kids. So it's a definite like, hey, you're a bitch for that type of shit. So I don't really know. But yeah, like if your husband is taking a lot of shits, man, it's because, yeah, man. I mean, my wife, you know, she don't really be calling me out like that. So, but sometimes you just gotta take a shit and scroll on social media for 5 to 10 minutes, and maybe you do that 7 to 8 times. I don't know. I don't fucking know. I'm outing myself. I'm sorry, man. If you're watching this, sometimes, you know, hey, I'm not perfect, dude. I'm a piece of shit. So, um, no, I'm grateful, man. I'm grateful for the opportunity to talk to y'all. Thank you for being here, and man, I hope that you fucking learned something about me, or maybe you can apply it to your life. The people that text me when the podcast comes out in, you know, a couple of days, and the comments y'all leave, thank you. But also, I hope you learned something. I hope one day I can organize all these thoughts. Maybe sometime I'm gonna leave it for the last episode, last episode, but maybe why I'm always moving is because I don't want to be stuck with them, right? I always got something to do, always moving. Even when it doesn't look like I'm moving, I'm fucking moving. Can't sit in the silence, you know. I'm wheezing. I didn't notice that. I've been wheezing this whole episode. You take my Albuterol, or I might just fucking take a EpiPen. Yeah. I really can't wait to see that person, though. If I'm being honest. I hope that guy is doing good on social media. I hope that at least, you don't have a lot of following, but maybe you started putting yourself out there to do brand deals. You started bracketing some money, and maybe you have a lot of trial reels, and you started posting some stuff like that, and you started talking to people, because the trial reels are, not on your feed, and it's the people that don't follow you. And I think that maybe some videos can reach out. Maybe you gotta find your niche. Because I be talking about fatherhood, but then it's like maybe I need to like talk about one thing, and it's like I think the one thing I want to like really narrow it down, because I need to be specific with my goal on social media, is talk about being a father of two under two, right? And maybe I need to like really like write down like what it is about that, or maybe it's the journey of being a father, you know, or maybe the journey of yeah, of, of working on social media with two. I don't know, some stuff like that. But it's like I think that's important. Yeah, I don't know if it's the most strongest because when I say it out loud, I'm like, who the fuck would want to watch that? But I would. You know what I'm saying? I'm watching. I'm listening to a guy. It's called Higher Wellness, and it's just a white dude, buff as fuck, and he talks about just putting yourself out there and doing takes and really saying what you need to say. But it takes time. It's a process that makes you better. And these reps, these episodes, these 19 episodes, 20 episodes, if I get to 20, they all matter. They're all moving towards that bigger goal. And I need to remind myself that that's the point of this podcast, you know? You know, I thought to only get there was with other people. I realize now I could do it myself, or I need to try to do it myself. What did Seth Rogen said? He said, if you don't quit, you might make it. If you quit, you're 100% not going to make it. And I've tried so many times with people, and maybe I'm too fucking crazy. But maybe I'm too fair. Maybe I'm too realistic. Maybe I over communicate too much. Maybe I'm too controlling, OCD. Maybe I want it a certain way. I'm particular because I know what works or what doesn't work. But now I don't have to answer to anybody. And I just do this. And it's the first time I actually feel in control and I feel like I can do it. So maybe that's a change. And you know, I started posting in May and it's May 9th and I've only accumulated 17 followers, but it's like, and most of them are people I thought I was already, people already following me. But anyways, that's besides the point. I can't wait. Yeah, if you're watching this, I cannot wait to see how you've changed as a father, how you've changed on social media, you know, what steps you're taking for better mental health. I can't wait for that, you know. So, I'm going to take some Albuterol. Let me get the fuck out of here. I'm going to close up shop. It's 7:03. I'm going to close up shop, wrap this up, and then I'm going to shoot a podcast next week. Post it on next Monday, and then, you know, the due date is May 21st. And we'll go from there, man. Or plus or minus, you know, May 21st. It was a good podcast, you know. I try to stay on the flow. I felt it flowed better when I didn't look at my phone and because I was overthinking. There was dead space when I was reading. So, topics, no topics. Structure, no structure. It is what it is. I appreciate you. Thank you. I think you are important. And, you know, you keep trying. If I'm putting myself out there, you got to put yourself out there too. Please. I want to see your journey. I think your story is important. And yeah, it feels like this is the last episode. No, this is not the last. I mean, no. Or maybe. I'll tell you right now, if I have another baby, I know that my wife would be like, yo, don't even fucking say you're going to try to do that podcast. So maybe this is the last. I don't know. We'll see. I love you. Thank you. Wow, that's really sad, man. If I don't really get to do this anymore. Take care of yourself. I love you.